Hello, hello, hello. I am Lori Allred and I'm your Pampered Keto Chef. It's always a little awkward when I first start these because people have to go find them and there's no one there to talk to. So I will just keep cooking while we wait for my peeps. Usually I've been running this live through my VIP Pampered Chef group, and that's been great, but so many of my friends don't know about that group, and so I thought I'd do it on my public business page in hopes that maybe they could find me a little bit easier. So welcome. Hello, Miss Joy. I'm so glad you joined me. How is California? Please tell me sunny and beautiful, because I'm stuck here in cold, dreary Utah. We're all starting to get that sad, whatever it's called, that sun, I don't know, the disorder you get when there's not enough sunshine. So I am just whipping up. So I don't know how many people are going to be, I put that it was for Super Bowl treats, but I don't watch the Super Bowl. But how often do we get invited to a party that we need some fabulous ideas to create that we can take, especially if you're trying to stay keto. That's like my downfall is public groups. So I thought I would share some of my fun ideas I've tried recently. I don't know if anyone noticed the pit in the background. Let's see, it's a little cloudy but nice. Well, it's a little cloudy here too, but freaking cold. Like with my short hair, I have to wear scarves all the time because otherwise I freeze to death. So I'm using my mix and chop. Everybody knows that. That's a big Pampered Chef fan. Great tool for this very reason, for mixing up our hamburger. So let's get started. I'm going to start cutting up some onions in hopes that they don't make me cry. But knowing my luck, hello my friend Nicole. I appreciate you jumping on here. So Nicole, does your family watch the Super Bowl? Because we don't here, but we love a good party and great food ideas. So I know a lot of people are excited. I even had my friend Mike ask me if I'd come and just make keto food for his Super Bowl party, which is hunky-dory, but nobody's got time for that. So I'm actually whipping up like 3 different things. See, I'm crazy. Oh, your hubby loves it. I forget he's a sports fanatic. Silly me. But do you watch it? Or like I used to say, I watch it for the commercials. Because really, sometimes I was watching it the year that, was it Janet Jackson lost her top? Wardrobe malfunction. And my kids were little. I remember they were there with me. And I thought, oh my gosh, I looked at Kirk and I said, did she just show nipple? I'm pretty sure she just showed nipple. I was shocked. So, and I don't think I was actually watching the Super Bowl. I think I was just watching halftime. So I have to admit, I haven't really watched halftime since. I mean, if it was truly a wardrobe malfunction, I feel bad for the girl. But, you know, in Hollywood, you never know what you're going to end up with. So, being the crazy cook that I am, when I cook, I like to cook a lot of things. Commercials are fun, usually provide the food. Oh, well, good. I am doing, I don't know, Nicole, if I've ever made you my queso dip, my cream cheese dip. It's one of my favorites. So I'm browning up some, or not sausage, the San Francisco 49ers are playing, so it has to be, of course, in Northern California. Yes, Joy, that is true. And I've always been a 49er fan ever since Steve Young. So, you know, token Mormon on the team. Anyway, so I'm actually just browning up some Jimmy Dean hot sausage. I mixed in 1 hot and 1 sage because I'm actually doing 2 recipes with browning this meat. I'm going to actually just show you how simple it is to throw together some stuffed mushrooms on the fly. Sometimes Kirk and I are craving those. And so I'm going to have enough meat to do that. And then I'm going to show you the queso dip. I don't know what to call it. So we're going to call it queso dip, but it's really made with cream cheese. It's super simple. 3 ingredients is all. So we'll let that keep browning up. But the actual thing I wanted to show you guys is this really fun recipe that you're going to all think I'm crazy for doing. I made them the other night to see if they turned out. And one of the things, sorry, I have my air fryer going. Hey, Miss Lori. So this episode is for Mike because he wanted some ideas for keto ideas for a Super Bowl party. And we don't watch Super Bowl here, but I can help Mike out. So with this, I was just saying I'm browning up some Jimmy Dean hot sausage. I've mixed in 1 of sage just because I'm doing stuffed mushrooms at the same time. I tried to find bigger mushrooms at the grocery store than this, but that's okay. The meat, the stuffing to mushroom ratio will be awesome on these, and they won't take as long to cook. So I'm just hauling out the insides. I think I have a tool for this. Let's see. Oh, I do. Let's just do that. That's going to be way easier. You just want to take the core out of the mushroom to leave room for you to stuff with. So I'm going to be making 3 different things that are huge crowd favorites. I get asked to bring my dip all the time. And for those of you that don't do chips, oh good Mike, I'm so glad you're here. For those of you who don't do chips, I know this is a big deal and we're trying to be good. It's hard when you get with a group of friends that are all eating carbs. So I'm going to tell you, I've done this before when I've gone to like a family gathering or a group gathering, is I always bring the foods I can eat. So one of my go-tos is always deviled eggs. And you can look it up on Pinterest, you can do deviled eggs like a bazillion different ways. The wardrobe malfunction, yep, that one. That's famous. I was there. Anyway, so I always make food I know I'm going to enjoy because 99% of the time there's not going to be anything I can have. And then I'm angry, really angry and bitter. It used to happen a lot when I first started keto. So the best way to avoid that, even Rachel Hollis says she does the same thing, and she eats something different. I can't remember if it's vegan but she learned that as well. Take what you can eat. So I'm browning up Jimmy Dean hot sausage. You can throw in some sage if you want to tone it down a little bit. We like the hot sausage. That's going to be for the dip. Okay, back to your carriers. Now, for a carrier for dip, I usually take a big bag of pork rinds. And trust me, it's an acquired taste. I never thought in a million years I would eat pork rinds. But if you get enough of the dip, you can't really taste the pork rind. You just need it to carry it to your mouth. So another thing I do a lot is I'll cut up some cucumbers and have them handy. So I'm just taking the cores out of my mushrooms so that I can stuff them. We're going to do some stuffed mushrooms. Since I was already browning up the sausage, I thought, why not? So these are my favorites. Now, if you don't want to cook them right now, but you want to save them, you can stuff your mushrooms and toss them in the fridge in an airtight container and then pull them out and cook them. And I kind of vary the recipe for my mushrooms depending on what ingredients I have in my house. So one of our favorites is adding dry ranch or just even ranch out of a bottle, salad dressing, to give it kind of that ranchy kick. Those are super yum. So again, I like sometimes to just kind of experiment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to do the dip, but let me show you, to get started on what I really wanted to show you. So here in this bowl, we're going to do some bacon wrapped onion bombs, or hamburger bombs. I don't even know what to call them. But I saw this a while back and I've been wanting to try it. I think my friend Chris O'Shea did them, because he's also crazy enough he took a head of cauliflower and stuffed cheese sticks in it in periodic places and then wrapped the whole entire thing with bacon and then baked it. And I didn't get over there in time to try it, but I heard rave reviews from his wife and his kids. So let me grab, I forgot one ingredient, which I do every time. So the recipe calls for mozzarella. You can get away with good old-fashioned mozzarella sticks. These are also the bomb. If you want to wow people, freeze these, pull them out, wrap them in some bacon, fry them in a little bit of oil. Oh my gosh. And then tell everyone who's not keto they can't have them, because they're my favorites. So we're going to use this in it. So I have half of one of those tube things like Jimmy Dean thing of 1 pounder. So I have one of just hamburger and one of just the Jimmy Dean sausage. And so I'm going to mix those up, but we're going to add some more things to it. Of course, most things like meatballs, on the meatballs call for breadcrumbs. We can't have breadcrumbs. So my good old-fashioned go-to is always pork rinds. And I already did these because you don't want to see me smash it. And I have this awesome meat tenderizer from Pampered Chef. And you can flip this around if you're doing meat or leave it flat when you're just pounding the crap out of your pork rinds. So this is a great breading option. So instead of like panko flakes and whatnot, and it calls for about a half a cup. So we're just going to eyeball it. And then we're going to add in, of course you can add in onions, but we're going to wrap it with an onion, believe it or not. So I am going to food chop me some mushrooms. Let's do the baby ones that are harder to stuff. Let's see. Okay. That one will work. That one will work. Oops. I'm just gonna chop them up a little bit. You could add in some green pepper if you like that kind of thing. I'm not a big green pepper fan. It actually, I burp them for days. It's not fun. So, oh, someone's trying to call me, and they obviously aren't a fan because they would know that I am filming. Let's see, I'm trying to find little baby ones. I want a couple more in there. So I tried this the other day, and I'll post pictures of my first attempt. You make the meatball portion of this, and then you stuff it inside of an onion peel. So you can use, the problem is obviously if I use a regular onion, this is what happens. I learned this the hard way. Instead of being bite-sized onion bombs or hamburger bombs or whatever we're going to call them, I have to fill that with a whole lot of hamburger. So that's a problem, especially when you start getting down and you get into the smaller portion of the onion. In fact, this makes up a lot too, by the way. I'm just going to go ahead. The best part about the food chopper is you can chop the heck out of your onions and nobody knows they're in there. Let's see, my friend told me that Harmon's has flavored pork rinds. Gonna grab some. Yeah, I bet they have. I've only tried the salt and vinegar, and there's a couple like a cranberry, I can't remember, habanero. Kirk likes pork rinds better than me. Oh, back to carriers. Cucumbers were great. Again, if you use, oh, I didn't obviously hit that hard enough. So we'll toss that. Anyway, we got our mix in there. That works good. Let's add in some salt and pepper. And then, of course, I want garlic in here. More garlic, the better. And apparently when you do salt, I should be doing it like, throwing it from high up. But my microwave's in the way. Oh, yeah, that looks really awesome. Anyway, so bacon. So if you're going to do bacon as a carrier, and by the way, Two Crazy Ketos, if you don't follow them, have an awesome recipe for crackers. And they actually weren't bad. I tried them at the last keto meetup, and I really quite enjoyed them. Okay, that looks like it's cooked. So I'm using the mix and chop to mix this up. It's an awesome tool from Pampered. It actually was one of the #1 selling tools ever released from Pampered Chef. And then I need to pull some of this out. So I softened up some cream cheese. Oh, it's pretty soft. I'm going to put about a cup in here. If I were doing this, just leave that there. Now, one of my favorite things to add to this mix is just a block of cream cheese. I'm adding the hot sausage to it. Onions chopped up in this is really yummy, green onions especially. Let's add a little bit of parsley to it. I don't have any fresh parsley, so we're going to have to just defer to regular old canned stuff. So I don't know how many of you have heard, there's a keto bread out on the market. It's made by a manufacturer here in Utah called Franz. And we have an outlet just up the street for them. They make yummy bread, dang it. So I don't ever go there. I haven't gone there since I started keto, but they just released a new bread called just Keto Bread. And apparently it's pretty long carbs, which yay. And I can't find it. So I went to the outlet and the girl says, oh, we're not going to get it. They're testing it in stores. And the only way it will end up coming here is if it doesn't succeed. But then she proceeds to tell me that they can't keep it in stores. It's flying off the shelf. So I was told you could get it at Costco, but I don't have a Costco membership. So if anyone goes to Costco, look for the Keto Bread by Franz, whatever. They also told me that my Winco up here in Layton would have it, so I've marched my butt over there at 10:30 on a Friday night trying to find this stuff, and no luck. They had none. They had a lot of low-carb bread, or gluten-free options, so if you're just gluten-free, yay for you. They had some awesome breads. But one of the byproducts of being keto is you typically don't have gluten. So now I'm just adding what's left of this sausage mix. I'm just adding in, I've tried it all different ways. 3 blocks of cream cheese work great for this. And this is a great thing you can make up early. And what I usually do is I make it up early and I put it in one of those slow cooker liners and stick it in the fridge. And then when I need it for my party, I pull it out, throw it in my slow cooker, and just have it nice and warm and ready to go when we're at the party. Just keep it on low. You don't want to burn it, which I've done. It still tastes good. You just got to throw away part of it. You can't eat it. Which, by the way, remember I made popcorn last week? Sometimes there's kernels left in the bottom, so I thought, oh, I'll just cook them again. But I don't think I added enough butter to it or oil, whatever. So then I got to smell burnt popcorn for days. I think it was just me. My husband's like, I can't smell it. But, okay, third block. Okay. So again, let's add some cheese to this mix. Both of these need cheese. So here we've got super easy, 3 ingredients. You've got a tube of hot Jimmy Dean sausage, 3 blocks of cream cheese. You can add more sausage if you want more. And then you're going to add in a can, just 1 can, and they have Rotel, just Rotel. You could do hot or mild. Since Kirk's probably going to eat the majority of this, he voted on hot. So we'll just add that to it, mix it up, it's good to go. Like I said, and it keeps great in the fridge if you have we never have leftovers. If we have leftovers, see, they don't make these so you can open them. I'm sure Pampered Chef will come up with a tool on how to open cream cheese packages, right? I guess it's good that they're sealed so well. So I just have this on like a medium to low to get this cream cheese to melt down now. So we'll let that do its magic while I do the rest, because we really need to get on with this. So now on these, so we've got this mixed in. I'm just going to add some things to it as we go. So I've added in pepper, salt, some onions, some mushrooms, about 1/2 cup of crunched up pork rinds. You guys got to help me out here. Pork rinds. Let's add in some cheese. I have some mozzarella cheese, about a handful. What's that, 1/2 cup? And an egg. And there was something, oh, garlic. Of course, we need garlic. So I have my fresh garlic and my garlic press ready to go. Also, my husband's a big believer in the minced garlic out of the can because he can't ever find the tool that he needs for this. So if he just look for it, he wouldn't have that problem. I think it's more potent and tastes better when it's fresh garlic. Ooh, yeah, that's way potent. Did I ever tell you guys how to get the garlic smell out of your fingers? You need to rub your fingers on stainless steel. And I don't have a stainless steel fridge, but I know many people who do. So just go over to your friend's house and rub your hands all over their fridge. It'll take that garlic smell right out of your hands. They might not appreciate it, but we don't care, do we? So just adding probably the equivalent of 2 cloves. You can add a little bit more if you prefer a lot of garlic like we do. I just want it to be flavorful. You can use some garlic powder in a pinch. Oh, that was a nice clove right there. In fact, I think I'm going to add garlic to my stuffed mushrooms as well. Okay, and then it calls for 1 egg, because of course we need something to bind all that together. Normally, I would use my hands, but we've all recognized the problem that Lori has in having to leave off camera. So here's a go-to when you're in a big bind. It works great, I know. So I know you probably wouldn't do this if you were at home, but I'm trying to avoid having to go over and put my hands in the sink while you're all watching. So just incorporate that. Obviously, a spoon will probably do the trick, but I think it just gets a lot better incorporation when, oh, you know, I think it needs a little color. We're going to add in just my dried up parsley. Probably, let's say, a couple tablespoons worth. Let's add a little to. Parsley has kind of a flavor, but not much. But it looks pretty when you get it all. Oh yeah, I like that better. So basically all you're doing is making up your favorite meatball recipe. And then we're getting creative on how we serve them. And I think the tip is a lot of people don't know about that. Onion, chopped up pork rinds in place of your bread. Yeah, I think we're pretty incorporated here. Yep. Looks lovely. toss that back. Not on the floor. Sorry, I have a dog. Can't leave that on the floor. She would love that raw hamburger flavoring, I'm sure. I'm just gonna pop a couple more of these garlic cloves off of here. Okay, so on this recipe, it says you can cook it about 350, 375 for about 30 minutes. Just kind of watch it. The thing I find with anything you wrap in bacon and you bake it is it goes kind of soggy. Now, and I'm not a big fan of bacon wrapped meats because I don't think it actually helps the meat and you don't really get the flavor, and then the bacon you throw away because it's gooey and gross. So, but bacon, this recipe, I'll tell you the trick is two things. You could either do it, deep fry them, if you want to go to the trouble, or just air fry them. I did one batch in the oven and one batch in the air fryer, and I like the air fryer ones way better, and it took half the time. So that would be my recommendation. Do another garlic clove. My husband's so excited for me to do all these foods because even though it's not Super Bowl, he gets to eat them. There we go. I don't add in the Rotel till I get all of the cream cheese to melt down. So I've still probably got a little low. Okay, back to our bacon wrapped onion thingies, whatever, meatballs. You can use sticks. So the awesome thing is when these come out, if you have a stick already in them, you can use them like a cake pop, but made with hamburger. The only problem is I found the sticks to be a little too long. And if these work out the way I hope they work out, I only need half of it. I need these sticks cut in half. So do you guys know the trick to using sticks when you're barbecuing? If you're using sticks, I know Mike probably knows this. Well, so much for that one. Get them wet. Just soak them in a pan a little bit before and you won't have all these charred sticks. So these are just, it's helpful if you can keep them contained. These are just the kitchen cutters from Pampered Chef, and I'm so worried about them flying everywhere. I love these cut through bone and wood, obviously. Okay, done with that. I think that'll be good for now. Okay, here is the trick. Instead of using onions, I'm going to use these little guys. Do you guys know what these are? Aren't they cute? They're technically an onion, so that's a nice option. These are actually called shallots, and you can buy them at any grocery store. The trick is, this time of year they're not so great in size. So I'm not sure how well these are going to work. I knew this was going to happen. Problem with shallots is sometimes they're not a full shallot. They split off and make baby shallots. So this one's not going to work because it's 2 pieces. But if you're not big on onions, by the way, shallots are great because they're a more mild onion. Another way, if you're concerned your onion's too potent, that I do a lot, my son doesn't like onions, is if you just soak your onion in water. See, I can feel that one. Dang it. That feels like 2 too. Let's try these. And we might just be ending up doing onions. Now, I did one batch with onion wrapped around them and another batch with no onion, and they both taste yummy, but we agreed, Kirk and I did the taste test, that the ones with the onions around them tasted so good. So good. So I have the similar problem. I split off. We could probably make that work, but I don't know how to get all those out. Let's see. Oh, that's going to be, well, it might work. We've got that skin. Okay, so shallots may be a bust. It was just an idea I had because I had all these giant ones. So maybe we'll go and try and find the smallest yellow onions you can at the store. I think that's going to be your best option. These are probably too big to be cake pops, but they still taste great. And I promise you, even your non... See, this one even had a baby. What up? I'll give you the general idea. And then we'll hurry and finish up these recipes while I cook a couple for you. I promise you, the dip's worth it. So at least do the dip. This is a great one to take if you have to go feed the masses, you know, family parties, group celebrations. This is one of my favorites to take. Okay, so basically you're going to take the peel. I'll just get you started on a couple. I'm just going to use my scoop. Normally I did my hands. Okay, bag it. You guys aren't here. I don't have to worry about safety. Just gonna, so take your ball of meatball, put it inside of this here onion. That one could probably stand a little bit more of the meat mixture. Another thing I learned is if it's too overstuffed, oh, we forgot a step. This is a crucial step. So here we're gonna do that thing that I hate to do, but we're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna take our cheese stick, because it calls for mozzarella in the middle of these. That's the secret ingredient. And I'm just gonna cut it in fourths, peel out one of those little guys like that. Take my mound of raw meat. Look how pretty that is. Stick it in the onion. Okay, process. You've got that far, right? Meat, cheese in the middle, onion. We may not need those little sticks after all. Let's do another one. You can use fresh mozzarella. I'm sure that's probably what the originator of this recipe intended. But I loved it when I opened one of these up and that yummy gooey cheese was in the middle. It was a nice surprise. Okay, so you've got these two. If your onion's too big and you're concerned, you can always slice off a little bit of the onion, but I think those are the right size. You want to keep them all consistent when you're cooking them so that you get them all to cook consistently. Now, the rule of thumb for raw meat, for hamburgers, you want it to get to, I think, 160, 165. So have a temperature gauge handy because it's hard to tell when these are done. So you're just going to take your bacon, and I'm going to lay it down one direction and wrap my nifty onion. Then I'm going to take a second piece and do it crisscross the opposite way. So, and I like to turn it over just so I have something holding that first piece on. So it looks something like this. So you've got the bacon wrap. I promise you, this is to die for good. And then just to kind of secure it in place, since I'm going to put it in my air fryer, I'm going to use the short sticks. I like to run a stick through it just to kind of hold it. So you've got this lovely little thing happening. Now in your air fryer, some air fryers like to be warmed up, so I already preheated my air fryer. Let's add these two. Takes about 15 minutes on about 385-ish. Every air fryer is just a bit different, but that's what it took mine for this size of bacon wrapped onion meatballs. I don't know what to call them. Someone come up with an acronym. Bacon wrapped onion meatballs. So, and I promise you, like, Kirk hasn't been doing keto for a long time. He just loves eating my keto food. So we will just run that through to the other side, stick it there. You could probably do 3 or 4. My air fryer is the kind that has the trays that go in instead of sitting down. If you have the kind that has the bucket that comes out, I'd probably halfway through open it up and turn them over so you get that bacon crispy. But in my air fryer, 15 minutes, it actually goes all the way around it. The bacon is crispy, it's the bomb. So let's go ahead and add that to my air fryer that I pulled over. I'm gonna do maybe 380, 15 minutes. I had it heated up when we started here. Oh no, this is getting too hot. Okay, this is working great. We are ready for Rotel. Seriously, this is so good you could eat it with a spoon. And it's really what gives it that flavor is that spicy sausage. And of course, we're gonna add in the Rotel, is gonna help out. And we used to do, you know, your typical queso with the Velveeta cheese, but you go look and read what's in that Velveeta cheese and you won't be eating it anymore. So let's get my Rotel that I pulled the hot out. Nifty. Have you guys seen the Pampered Chef can opener? It is the bomb. It is one of those smooth cut can openers. One thing a lot of people don't realize with the can opener is how to get it unhooked from the can. It's actually, see right now it's connected. It's not coming off. Easiest way to get it unhooked is to you go this way to cut it, opposite way to let go, and then it has this little guy right here. Can you see his little mouth? He's going to help me peel this lid right off. Just like that. Just dump your Rotel right in there. and just mix it up and you're good to go. Okay, I've never finished how to do bacon as a carrier. You want to start with a thick cut bacon. It doesn't work with this thin bacon I just wrapped the onions with. Make sure when you're wrapping your onions you use thinner bacon. The thick cut is too greasy, or it's too thick. It gets greasy and it takes a long time for it to cook through. So your hamburger will be way cooked before your bacon probably. So, I did put 3 cream cheeses in this, right? I think I just had more meat than normal. Ugh, you guys, this is the bomb. I'm trying to figure out how to make this into like a meal. Because I guess I'm going to be chowing down on pork rinds tonight. It just looks like that. Look at that. It is awesome. And it smells so good. 3 ingredients, super easy. So we've got our meat mixture here for our onion bombs. And now because the onions aren't, I don't have enough onions, probably what I'll do is a batch where I just make the meatball, wrap it with the bacon, and cook them. Kirk loved those just as much. And you can make those any size you want because you're not trying to fit it in the middle of an onion. Obviously shallot didn't work out for me. Let's go ahead and finish up our stuffed mushrooms since we already have that. So what I would take is almost always would be probably a salad of some kind, your dip with some carriers. Deviled eggs are a huge hit every time, especially if you do them flavored. Like I love bacon ranch and cheese deviled eggs. And then of course I'm going to do stuffed mushrooms. That's probably something you would want to cook at your host's house, or if you're making it for everybody. I'm probably going to use, I have some Colby Jack. It doesn't really matter, it's just what you prefer. And probably let's add in some Parmesan because everybody loves some Parmesan. And no, there's no measurements, really, just be brave. It's all about the cream cheeses and all this cheese is holding it together. And let's see, where did I put that? What did I just say? Parmesan cheese. Awesome. We'll go ahead and pull out our micro grater and grate me up some cheese. Okay, that's probably enough. There you go. That's it. That's all, people. So this weekend I spent some time trying to clean out my Pampered Chef stash of goodness. So I'm going to be posting a giveaway probably when I get done here. So be sure to check back in my VIP group, probably even on my personal feed I'll do it. So you can win a giant box of probably about $100 or more worth of product. Thought it would be fun to make it a giveaway. So there's a couple options when you're stuffing your mushrooms. Obviously, your best option would be one of our little scoops. So the stainless steel scoops. By all means, a spoon works great. I like the scoops because they give it a nice round and I didn't get the right size. This one I have is probably too big. So talk amongst yourself while I grab that. So this is the small scoop. It works great for stuffing mushrooms. So I'm just going to take a scoop of that, fill it, and I love it when it sticks out over the top because when it cooks it's gooey and yummy. And I'm just going to put these on my bar pan stone. You can add a little bit of olive oil if you want. It's not really necessary with all that meat and cheese. Okay, that's cooked. Let's turn that off, baby. And I'm going to cook these mushrooms once I get them all stuffed. I'm going to cook them for probably about 15 minutes. I watch them until they look just about right. For about 15 minutes at about 400. I like it a little bit better that way. Every oven's different though. My oven is old, so yours may not take as long as mine. Old as in I might just get rid of it instead of clean it old. Even though my mom seriously has bought me every kind of oven cleaner known to man. I think she's really worried about me not cleaning my oven. I cleaned it once. I did the self-cleaning and I don't recommend it. We had to leave the house. You couldn't breathe in the fumes. You guys are still there, right? Okay, just making sure. Everyone's so quiet and I'm missing my Australia fans. They probably had something to do. But that's all right. Oh, maybe I put Super Bowl and they're probably going, what the heck is the Super? Well, they know what it is, but it doesn't apply to them. They do rugby over there. And I was going to say the All Blacks, but they're a New Zealand team. Although Rob is from New Zealand, so he wouldn't mind that. So I'm just going to keep stuffing my meatball onion thingies. You guys are going to want to wait around for that. They still got a good 9 minutes on them. So what I'll do is I'll post a picture and kind of give you a general idea on the recipe. I think you guys are all great and can figure it out. So does anybody have any questions? Your mouths are watering. I know, I'm sorry. This is what happens when I choose to fast. On a fasting day, I end up having to watch, like, moderate a live, or I have to go do things for those of you who don't know, I work for Keto Chow, and so I spend a lot of time, like, updating their new recipes and whatnot, and without fail, it always falls on a day I'm fasting. And that's bad. It's hard. So I know this is like being tortured because you can't eat it. So, Mike, we really should have hooked something up with that whole catering a Super Bowl party so that you could have this yummy food. But Lori's an awesome cook. She'll cook it for you. Oh, good. Joy says she is cooking while I'm cooking. What are you making, Joy? Anything good? Probably not all this fun, you know, like finger food. You're probably making something substantially better for you. My go-to lately's been Kroger, which is Smith's out here, has a Caesar salad mix bag. And sometimes when I'm in a hurry, I just, like last night, we put a couple of small sirloins in the air fryer, and I pulled out the Caesar salad mix, mixed it up, and then I just sliced our sirloin and put it on top. It was kind of like being at a restaurant, but cheaper. Let's see, roasted vegetables, ooh, with chicken thighs. That sounds delightful. And are you doing them in the oven, like oven roasted? Because those sound yummy. I just bought some chicken thighs. I was wondering what I should do with them. Roasted vegetables. I can be there in 5. Oh yeah, come on over, Nicole. You are welcome to. I keep saying I'm going to take food to people, and I never make it that far because Kirk's like, no, it's fine. So there you go. So we have stuffed mushrooms, super easy to do. Similar ingredients to this yummy Rotel dip, cream cheese dip. Seriously, you guys knew. I go hang with a group of friends and quilt once a month, and they always ask me to bring this dip. And when I don't bring the dip, everyone's like, oh. And of course, I'm nice, and I bring them a bag of chips because I'm nice like that. Usually tortilla chips work great. Well, I'm going to be having definitely stuffed mushrooms tonight, which are always a good idea if you ask me. So there you go. You guys are awesome. Enjoy your dinner. Have a happy Super Bowl. I pray your team wins if it's the 49ers. Anyway, again, I don't watch sports, so I can't say for sure, but I'm a fan of the 49ers and you guys. Thanks a lot. You guys have a great night. Happy cooking. We'll see you next week. Bye.